Hey guys, this is Lychee Planet. We're back with the red. Red? We're doing red, right? Yeah, we're doing
Yes.
the red color of Summer Pockets.
Yep.
And we'll just get straight into it. The first card that we've got on the agenda is Summer Pockets Owl. This is a 3/2 finisher. It's a come and play heal, which is, it's fine on the finisher. I prefer Jig myself, but each to their own. And it's got a pretty powerful climax combo. So it's not powerful just on its own merits. It's powerful because the card that it is used in conjunction with is quite powerful. So up to once a turn, at the end of this card's attack, if you have the standby climax in the climax zone, you may pay 2 and choose a specific level 0 blue card in your memory, put it face up under this as a marker. If you do, choose one of your Ice Ricardo, which is a 3/2 blue card. It's hard to discuss this card without discussing that card. Maybe we'll just skip over, discuss the lengthy discussion and discuss it when we get to that card. And if you do stand that character, allowing basically restand at the end of attack, you don't have to reverse or anything. And then this card does not stand during your next stand phase. So
Healing
I
restand
assume there's some,
basically doesn't require
yeah,
a reverse either.
yes. And the other card is a very powerful one as well. It's an anti-event, anti-counter card, and it also has soul modulation built in. We'll talk about it when we get to it. I'm assuming this is some sort of flavor. I have not played the game, so I can't really comment.
They're twins.
Uh, I've been on the receiving end of this combo before several times, and it's quite powerful. Um, simply because it's basically free. It's practically non-interactable. The card you put into memory, you run anyway because you want to activate certain other cards. And there are multiple ways to get that card into
Card that
memory.
this looks for in memory also salvages this card itself when it
Yes.
puts
So
itself
that
into
card,
memory. So
yeah. So that card, it can there are two ways to get into memory printed on that card. We'll talk about it when we come to it, but one of those abilities literally gets you this card. So there's a lot of consistency. It's a very pushed engine, and I feel like it's just one of the more powerful restanding effects we've seen in recent memory, especially because the standby climax actually allows you to very easily set up with the help of a certain support that we've got in this set. It's not overly expensive either. Like it's not as expensive as a lot of other finishes which people do like to play. I'm gonna give it a probably a B plus because while it is extremely strong, um, I don't think that it carries the set by itself. Like it is a pretty powerful finishing effect, but it doesn't win the game every single time like Yukina does or uh Charochid. I'm not what's her name? Coco
Coco Chino.
Coco Chino, that's the one. I've been playing against the yellow green deck a lot. Coco Chino does. But it is basically non-interactive. There's a lot of versatility in the other card and your soul modulation. And I think that it's a fine package to have. And lastly, it means you get to play a standby climax and not feel bad about it because it's not your main combo at level 1. So at the point where you don't really want to fall behind in soul, you get to play different climax and you have standby triggers to use elsewhere. And additionally, restand combos tend to be a lot better when you're not forced to attack for 3 or more. And as we all know, standby gives no soul. So the lack of soul is actually a benefit in the late game in most scenarios. So I think this is an example of a good use of standby climax. And I think that using it like this is it's how I think it should be used, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, next card. Summer Pockets Nanami. This is another 3/2 finisher. This one's a lot more self-sustained. All you need to do is play this card and its climax. When this is placed from hand to stage, check top 3 and add one of them to your hand, put the rest in the waiting room so that it gives some added consistency. And when this attacks, if you have the gate in the climax zone, you may pay cost, which is pay 2 and ditch any 2 cards. If you do, put any number of cards in your memory into the waiting room and deal 2 damage times the number of cards put in memory to the waiting room this way. So Okay, I phrased that really badly. So deal X damage, where X is 2 times the number of cards put in memory, to the weight put from memory to the waiting room this way, and then this gains 5k power for the turn. So you can only deal multiples of 2 damage. You can deal 2, 4, 6, etc., etc. You're not dealing 2 like Yukina. That would be pretty absurd. Instead, you get to deal either 2 or 4, or if you have to Hail Mary, you might have to deal 6 at some point. That being said, I don't think this is super powerful. Like this, if you want to deal 4, this compares unfavorably to our last shot Sinan, and if you want to deal 2, then it's pretty expensive for that cost. So basically, you've been given some added flexibility, which is valuable. Don't get me wrong, but as a result, you're paying a fair bit for it. And not only are you using stock and hand, but you're also using cards in memory. So you're very, very, very rarely going to be able to shoot 4 multiple times. And if you do, you probably won't be able to shoot 2 an additional time, since although there is some memory in this set, it's not, overflowing and abundant like it is in some sets, like Fairy Tail, Gene, DC. Um, you can pretty reliably probably get a 4 and then a 2, or 4 and another 4, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on this.
I think all the ways you get memory in this set are costed, or like
Uh,
it's like that, or the
Not quite.
bad
There's that
salvager.
one. There's that on reverse one where
Sure,
you are each card salvage,
but
but
then you're running
that's
that card.
I would not want to run that card. But is this card time trait?
Yes.
Well, I guess this is a usable finisher in the time deck. I guess. I don't know. This seems like a fine combo to play in that deck, but I don't think this is a particularly powerful combo overall. That being said, there's a fair amount of consistency in being able to dig for your own climax, and there's nothing wrong with playing a card like this just to dig. Like, I could
Well,
see a singleton of this being fine. Like, I
there's
know
we
there's a
have
better
better
card.
diggers though. That's the
I
problem.
know there's a better option to dig, and it's in blue anyway, which is another color you play. But I don't think this card is bad. I just think it's not the best option. That's all.
Yep. I think the problem is just it's tied to cards that are not necessarily great, whereas the standby restander is tied to
I don't
cards
think
that are
it's
pretty
really
good.
I don't think it's tied to anything bad, really.
Well,
Like
you have. I'm
you
not
get
saying it's
memory either way.
uh,
Like I think this is
sure, but they're
this is a
like
pretty standalone finisher. Every single
I
build
mean,
of
you
Summer
need.
Pockets gets memory.
I know, but the. I mean, it's like so. It's either you have to run a crappy salvager on a salvager, or you're obligated to play the memory healer before this card, right?
I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't play some of the memory events or play other, level
Those
zeros
aren't
that go to
that great
memory.
either, though. That's the problem.
No, they're not.
That's what
I'm
I'm
just saying
saying.
it's not
Like the
tied to
cards,
anything. Like
but I mean that's
it's
what.
and it's
But you are because you need the memory for this card to actually do anything,
sure,
and
but
you
you
need
could
at
also
least
just
you probably want
play
at
the
least like
card.
2 cards of memory.
Yeah, but you could just play the card that the AO combo plays anyway, the 0/0, and that's fine as well. Like
That
you can still play that engine.
sure if you're. I don't think that's that. I don't think that's very good. If you
No, no,
don't
I
run
don't
the.
think this card is inherently bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just
I
saying it's worse than the restander because the cards it's tied to are just worse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not tied to anything. That's the
It is
thing.
tied to those cards.
Well,
You need to play
I
those
mean,
cards that go to memory in order for this to do anything.
it can be tied to exactly the same cards as the Summer
Except
Pockets
those cards are
are.
just worse, right? With this card and not uh, as opposed to the restander, right? The 0/0 that goes to memory,
They'll be slightly worse. It's
I
only
think
the
significantly
zero
worse,
zero.
right? The only other way to get that into memory is with like via pay one, ditch one, summon a 1/1.
No, have you read that card? You can just let it die and then summon a 1/1
That's
7/5
what I'm
on the
saying.
field.
It's a pay one, ditch one.
Nothing wrong with that.
Then it's pretty bad.
It's just playing at 7/5.
I mean, it's just more slots, right?
Shrug.
and you're like obligated to use that effect now. Whereas before,
Yeah,
like I'm pretty sure the mode most people used was the salvage, the finisher, right?
I
You don't
agree.
have that.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that this is certainly worse than like the card we just talked
Yeah,
about, but
I
that
mean
doesn't
these
really
this
warrant me
card
giving
is
this a.
inexplicably linked, tied to any of the memory cards, right? In the set, and those cards just don't really do
Well,
anything
put
for
it
that.
this way. If they release another booster for this set, and there is a reasonable memory engine in that set, then this card could very well become very serviceable. Like, the flexibility is worth more than nothing.
That's true. I'm just saying, as of right now,
Yeah, right
memory
now I
cards are
don't think
just
you can
very
rate
bad.
it
Just
highly,
not
but
very good.
I also don't think this card is bad on its face. Like it's fine. Like there are certainly worse cards in this set. There are certainly worse double R's, and there are certainly worse level threes.
Yeah.
Okay, next card. So Shiroha is a 0/0 brainstorm. Self tap to salvage character per climax you brainstorm, and when this is placed from hand to stage, top check and put it either on top or into the waiting room. Uh, I don't know. This is one of the best brainstorm profiles you could ask for, right? Like short of check top two or something really
I
obnoxious
don't
like
even know if
the
check top two
like
is
the
better, right? Because those effects usually don't let you do anything with the top two cards in your deck.
you could like rearrange and then or whatever. But I mean this card it's like on par with a lot of the best brainstorms in the game, like the Idolmaster one, like the Clannad one. It's like a top tier brainstorm, I think. Um, and as a result, I think it's just a flat A. I don't know what else I can give it.
Yeah.
Like this card fixes for relevant colors. It's just a super powerful effect. 5 card brainstorm. It's still got relevance in late game. It's just really powerful, and I think it's just a flat A.
Yeah.
All right, next card. Glassbead Memories. Ow. When it's placed from hand to stage, put the top 2 cards of your deck in the waiting room, and this gains X power for the turn, where X is 1k times the number of Summer Pockets characters in those cards. So maybe it's a 0/4K. The other effect, when it's placed from hand to stage, pay 1, ditch a card. If you do, salvage a Summer Pockets character, add it to your hand, and then choose one of your other Summer Pockets characters to gain 1k for the turn.
Uh,
Mm,
I think it's
Like
also a
two
Vanguard card.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Uh,
Thing is, this is like it's 2 okay effects on a card, and neither of those effects is like you wouldn't run the card if it only had one of either effect. I don't think because drop salvage is almost there. It's almost good enough, but not really as good. I don't think. But being able to mill two it's a fine like little utility to have, even if this set doesn't have a free fresh or whatever. I think it's a fine card to have access to. I don't think you should be jumping through hoops to get a playset or anything there.
yeah.
All right, next card. Dish that came to mind, Nanami. It's a 1/2K counter. I'm pretty sure fried rice is a new trait, but
Is it?
whatever.
That's interesting.
I I would guess so. I'm giving it a very slightly higher grade because if push comes to shove and you're playing against a set that can somehow reverse your Shirohas, then I don't really think there's a better option than this. So
I think counters
I
suck.
don't know.
So I'm just gonna. This is my new grade for all counters, like costless
You're doing
counters.
that thing that Will did with level 3 killers.
No, I'm not saying it's unplayable. I'm just saying it's worse than average because I think counters are just worse than average.
Yeah, that's what Will said about the 2-1 things.
It's a lower. Well, I mean, I actually have good reasons. I don't think Will had very much of a good reason to keep saying that those cards are
Well,
bad.
no, I mean, yeah, he didn't keep playing, so he didn't really see the rise of early plays. Anyway, next card, Warm Summer Shiroha is a 1/0/3/5. If you've got any memory at all, this is a level 1 bomb. And when it is placed from hand to stage, give another character 500 times that character's level. Yeah, I'm not a.
I actually want to kind of
I
use
think
the
that both
duplex actually.
effects are fine,
God.
but neither effect is particularly powerful.
Wait, I mean
Like,
Power Pump is really bad. I really don't like this card.
it's not terrible. Like, it's like a 500 or 1k
I
pump on a
mean,
level
but
1
like,
bomb.
I mean, let's just think. Okay, well, I mean, we could just think about the cards that go to memory in time, right? Like,
Even
it's
in just the normal
it's. I
decks,
think
you
it's
could find it.
really hard. I think it's really hard to get like. I feel like if card is in your deck, right? That's I think a lot of the time, if you actually want this to be a bomb on time, you're gonna be using these memory effects
Yeah,
in
okay, you've
scenarios where
convinced
you're
me.
not actually
This
gonna be
is
getting like the
this is
best
not great.
value out of them, right? It's just like so
I was like
early.
trying to, yeah.
If
I,
that
I was trying
Shirha
to think of it.
searched instead of salvaged, totally like that changes what I think of like most of this like memory stuff completely, but it doesn't. So um,
Which Shirha do you mean?
the one that's the one that salvages, the costless salvage.
Oh, sure,
If
sure.
it just searched instead of salvaging, that'd be way better. But
Hmm.
you know,
I mean, that card would just be really good.
yes.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of it as just like a level 1 bomb. But it's not really a level 1 bomb. It's a costed level 1 bomb, kinda. Like, you need to jump through hoops to make it do that. And you're right, the power pump is not particularly good. The
Yeah,
only things you really pump are things that don't need power anyway, or
like
things
your
that,
2-1 Shiraha.
yeah, like your
Mm.
20k
Wait, it
Shirahas or
doesn't work.
whatever.
It doesn't even work. The turn you play the
Why?
combo
Yeah,
because
yeah, because it's a combo thing. Yeah,
that's even worse. Yeah, this card
so
is
it
not
doesn't
very
really do
good.
much. So this is like a level 1 bomb if you're really pressed for one, but I don't think that's gonna happen very
Yeah.
often. It's a pity because this is really nice art. Next card, the Time with a Nature, and it's L. It's a 1155. If you have two or more other Summer Pockets characters, this gains 2k, and it's got Hand Encore with any character. You can advance summon this using a level 0. When it dies, you can basically do the kill thing, except you don't get anti-heal. Instead, you just get the name
And
in
you also
memory.
don't get a stock, I think.
What do you mean?
So the kill one,
Oh,
you know what the
you're
kill
talking about
one
the new
does, right?
one. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the new one.
It
Yeah.
like has a chance to get you stock.
Well, yeah. Point is that I'm just talking about the level 0 effect, not the level 1
Sure.
itself. So yeah, this is just A75. It's a fine card to just play like one or two of, because
You
it is
really
like,
don't have room for this card.
yeah, I don't
It
think you have room because you've got all these good level 1s you need to
yeah.
play. You've got the combo, you've got like, I mean, the combo and then the 2-1 takes up a lot of space.
Yeah. Then you have
Then you've
like
got the 1-0 as
Azusa,
then you've got the double checker if you want to play that card. You've got a whole bunch of level 1s, and
maybe
this one's hard to
counters
fit
even.
in.
Like this is just like
Yeah. So as a result, this card just doesn't really have room, but it's also not a bad card. Like, if you're playing a dedicated twins deck, you certainly could do worse than this.
yep.
Next card, the Future Seen Sometime, Umi. It's a 3/2 advanced summon with two or fewer climax cards in your waiting room. When it's placed from hand to stage, if you have a bunch of time characters, you can choose a character in clock and send it to memory. So you might think that that's a bit restrictive, but it turned out that 2-1 Shirahas being enormous means that they'll stay on stage a lot. And that means you're going to fill that time requirement pretty
Your
easily,
brainstorm's also
especially,
Shiraha, so
yeah, your brainstorm is also Shiraha, which is really powerful. So yeah, this is just an advanced summon that has it's a heal that compresses a bit less than normal. Sorry,
and it
compresses a bit
bypasses
more
anti
than
heal,
normal.
if that's
It
a
also,
thing.
yes, it bypasses anti-heal. Um, I don't actually think this is much better than a regular advanced summon heal, although it does have 500 more power than they usually do for this profile. But I'm not going to say this is anything short of a reasonably playable card, and you should feel pretty good about playing one or two, because
It's you can
it's
also
fine.
it's a neat way to get like to fulfill memory requirements for a lot of cards in this deck or in this set rather, because you can choose any
Yeah,
character in your
like if for
clock
some
pool.
reason you wanted to play the Nanami finisher, this is another way to get cards into memory. Not the greatest way, but
But
hey,
yeah,
you never know.
if you happen to like get like a stray like 00 I think in clock,
Mm.
yeah, this will put her in memory for your finisher. So
Yeah. This is also a fine card to play out in multiples because this card is time trait, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so you can just stack them. Anyway, it's a pretty decent card. All right, next card. This is not Umikato. This is a Nanami. If if you have two or more
oops.
other Summer Pockets characters, this is a 5/5. And when the battle opponent of this is reversed, if you have the red stock still in the climax zone, you may salvage either a character or the Summer Pockets event.
Which
Um,
was I think that was a costed tornado.
so 5/5 Shimakaze on stock soul in a set that doesn't have any clear, obvious, massive pumps, aside from that one that only pumps Shiroha. I think this is, at this point, a very mediocre climax combo, and I would be
I agree.
very unhappy running this card.
Man, that's the costed Operation Tornado. This is like
Yes.
so far removed from Kasumi. It's really sad.
They could have pushed Summer Pockets much, much harder. Like they could have made it into like the rewrite power spot event, or just straight up Operation Tornado. And this card still wouldn't be good, but Summer Pockets might be okay. All right, next card. No Mercy, Mickey. This is a 1/05K. It's just a beta, but it has an additional effect. When the opponent brainstorms and hits, choose one of your opponent's level 0 or lower characters, and that character does not stand during your opponent's next stand phase. So the idea is just to have this on the field, then your opponent brainstorms pre-attack phase, and then when they hit, or if they hit, then they kind of go quote unquote neg in addition to going plus because their brainstorm is not standing next turn, and that's one less card they get to attack with, etc. Um, I don't know. I don't think this card is
Doesn't
good.
sound. It seems this is a cool. This is like a cool card. It's not a great. It's not
No,
a
I
good
don't even
card.
think it's cool. I think it's
I
it's
think the idea of a card that attacks right in the front row and has this kind of effect is kind of cool.
yes, but that also makes it worse because it's transient.
Um, yeah, but I mean, if they package this with like other utility, right? Obviously, this is like okay. There's like no way this is gonna be like good or run or even like playable because this is literally all it does.
Well,
But
just under spec and it has no other text. But like, if
yeah,
this
that's what I'm
was
saying.
say
If that this,
a
but if
one
this were
zero,
let's say I don't know, let's say Mari had this text right somehow,
I mean, you just slap this text on top of Mari.
or some recurring kind of beater profile, right? This is just on
Well,
there for whatever reason.
okay. If you put it on like the old index or something, then yeah, it would be pretty decent.
You could put it on the okay. Yeah, I mean you could just slap it on top of Mari, right? Like 1065 beater. That's a coin flip thing, and it has this like random brainstorm stopping effect.
You'd have to cut some power, but yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Um,
500 power.
yeah, look,
That's like nothing.
I was thinking more like this would be on like a 1/0 support. The support could be like tap to give something 1/5 and
Oh sure.
you know
Yeah.
some other effect.
I
And
was more
then
interested in like the idea of like a front row beater having this ability, but I mean
okay, that's more interesting, but it'd be worse, I think.
we're just talking about imaginary cards at this point. This card is not good.
Yeah, sure. And the other thing is, if it was on like if it is on a front row beta, that's not only played at level 1. That's the point where all but the most dedicated mill focus decks are just, brainstorming in the dark. So half the time this is a 1/05K with no text, and
Yes.
that's not really playable. All right, next card. Joke. Oh, she really is Murray. When you use the backup of this, if you have two or more other Summer Pockets characters, you may send the 00I in your waiting room to memory. So it's basically just
Man.
instead of comparing it directly to the Nanami counter, in addition, you basically just are forced to pay 1, and as a result, you can put the level 0 card into memory. I don't think this is good. I think that while this is very slightly better than the Nanami against Ash, I also think that that is a
Nice.
completely dead joke that we don't really need to keep on going on with. Yeah, this card is just not good, unfortunately. Even in a Twins deck, I don't see it being better than Nanami.
I mean the other problem is the zero it sends to memory is just you just want to use that card.
Sure, but
Like
say
and you
you
know
mill it with if you mill it with like the 1/0, and then you just decide you want a second one. That's like something you could do, right?
That's true.
It's it's just additional
Um,
random text, and because of that, this is mostly just a 1-1 vanilla counter, and that's not
it's
something
not
I'm
even a vanilla
interested in.
counter anymore, right? The vanilla counters are 2,500 now. The 1-1s.
Are they? I don't think
Yes, I
so.
think they are. I think the new
Well,
standard for
okay,
1-1 vanilla counters is 2,500 power now.
sure, but it's not playable either way, so
Yeah,
who
that's
cares?
true.
All right.
Next card.
Next card, the time remaining are. This is a 2-1 support. Support.
Global.
It only gives 500 to everything, but in order to compensate, it is a brainstorm, a salvage brainstorm for that record, just self tap salvage brainstorm. And it also has a climax combo. When you play the standby, if you do pay one, you can choose one of your other twins characters and stand it. So basically, it means that you can just play the standby on the turn you're going off, and then have access to the combo at a slight discount.
It's a
So
pretty
instead of paying,
good consistency aid
yeah,
for the combo.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Uh,
really terrible support, unfortunately, but it
yes.
is a
I mean, if you
um,
just think of it like taking the place of the Shiroha brainstorm.
yeah, yeah. It's an upgrade to the Shiro
Yeah.
Brainstorm. Not necessarily a worthwhile upgrade because it costs you one stock and one card, but is an upgrade.
Yeah.
And if you do have, extra resources, then this is a great way to make your end combo a bit more.
This also lets
Um,
you. This also gives a lot easier access to your finisher at level 2 if that's something that you need to do. Um, I could see that definitely happening for this deck.
what do you mean?
So
Do you
like
mean
if
the
you're at level 2, right? If you're playing if you have an extended stay at level 2, this card lets you more easily um, use your finisher combo at level 2. All you would need, right, is the
all
three
you need is
two
an
the
additional
finisher.
standby to be triggered?
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's not that hard. I don't think that's too far
Yeah,
fetched.
yeah, yeah.
If you're
So if you're
staying level
stuck
extra
at level,
turns to level 2, right, you're probably going to trigger at least one climax, and it's
yeah, yeah,
possibly
yeah.
going to be a
So
standby.
it might be a standby. So
Yeah.
it opens that up, but I would not, I wouldn't rank that as a draw to the card.
I
It's
mean,
just an
the
additional random
improvement on
thing.
consistency just affects like all aspects of the
Yeah,
finisher. So
I'm not gonna debate that. It's pretty decent.
yeah,
Did I give it a B plus? I meant to just give it a B. Yeah, just a B. All
it'd be
right.
even better if it were like a level assist. Oh baby,
Yeah,
how
like
good
if it
would
was a
that
level
be?
assist, yeah, slam it. That's a good card.
Oh man.
But it's not. Okay, so this one isn't Umi, but it's not named Umi Kato. All of your other Mother Shiraha gain 2k power, and all of your other Shiraha gain 2 cost Encore. So, Mother Shiraha is a vanilla. Um,
Yay!
it is a 5/5 vanilla. um, this doesn't even like bond to it or anything.
You know what you
Like,
can
what
do?
do you?
You give your two Unshirahas 2 stock encore. That's what you do.
Next card, Hydro Gladiator Kai Mickey. It is a assist for level zeros. 1k. They gain 1k power, and it's a water gun brainstorm. So it's a spammable 1-cost salvage brainstorm where you have to ditch, so you can't plus from it. Um,
Not
it's
a
a fun
fan.
card to have access to. I don't think you ever need it in a set with Nazusa. But if for some reason you're
I
not
don't even
playing
think
that,
you need him to set without Azusa.
yeah, I agree. Like there are some sets that can use it, but those sets generally don't really care for it. If there's a situation where brainstorming 3 or 4 times is good, you're probably in a really bad position. So
You don't even have a free fresh. I think a free fresh would make a profile like this way better. But
I don't think it would make it good enough to play
well,
because
you
again, we
played in
have an
Fate.
Azusa and we have
Haha.
Mill twos. Anyway, next card, Eyes That Tell Time, Kyoka. This is it's a 4K level one. Um, this is basically unkillable. Uh, but again, I don't think this is. If there's no reason to play the red card specifically, and I don't think there is, you've got plenty of red fixing, then this is functionally equivalent to like a blue runner, for example.
Yes.
And as a result, I'm not really that interested in playing it. All right, next card, special Yaki Rice. Is that right? I don't know.
Yes.
Comes to play against 4K. This is a good way to deal with the card we just talked about. The card we just talked about isn't played, so really not relevant.
Nice.
Alright, next card, Sparrow of the Island, Arrow. This is a great card to deal with the card we just talked about. That card is not being played. Next. Unneeded question. Oh, this is a great card to deal with the card we just talked about. No need to play it. Um, an F is really unfair for this card. Like,
Is it?
I definitely, yes,
Okay.
I think
What?
that's.
Oh my god. D minus.
We gave the vanilla a D.
D minus.
Oh
Oh,
my
we
god.
did give the vanilla a D? Oh, okay, fine. This gets a D.
The funny thing is, everything I just said is true. Each of those cards deals with the last one in
Do you think they
sequence.
did this on purpose?
Yes, so I can make that bad joke. Next card, 1-0 Umi and Shurha. It is a 500 assist, and you can tap this to cheat. And by cheat, I mean you look at your opponent's top two
Sensei's
cards, put them
divining.
back in any
One
order.
part of Sensei's divining top.
Sensei's Divining Top only looks at your deck.
Doesn't it look at one
No,
of your opponent's
you're
deck? Does it
thinking of
not?
like
Am I thinking of a
it
different
does
card?
not look at you. Well, you're thinking of Fate Seal or like an effect of that
Okay.
sort. You're thinking of Jace the Mind Sculptor, which is a similarly powerful card.
I think this
Um,
utility is cool. So I think it's
yeah,
actually
I
kind
love
of
this
I think it's
utility.
actually kind of useful. Um,
Yeah, because it lets you decide
especially
whether you want to hit
yeah,
for one.
yeah.
Like if you want to hit for one, or if you want to hit for two, that is actually you know what? That is actually better than useless. I just don't think it has any other real function, and it doesn't really go over any other card in the deck. But it's like a fine card, and it fixes for red in the Shiroha Umi deck, which is
Yes.
again more than nothing. All right, next card, Overflowing Memories. Her breasts are much bigger in this picture. If you don't have one of the twins in play, you can't play this from hand. I'm not gonna read exactly what they say because there's a whole bunch of like a lot of nonsense. Basically, you need one of the two twins. You may choose a character in hand, send it to memory, so you can send the 0/0 this way, or you can send like a random useless card. If you do, salvage up to two twin cards and add them to your hand. It then okay, let's be fair.
Her
You don't
boobs are
actually have to have.
huge.
Yeah, they're much bigger in this one, even though I
Yeah.
don't think.
I,
Yeah,
they're actually like 1.5. I think they're like, man, that's like almost double the size of what they are
yeah,
in
yeah.
regular.
I'll let you do the maths. Okay, so let's be fair. It's not any twin card. It's a card that needs to have one of the twins' names in it. So there might be a card that also, applies for that. I haven't checked. But if you do all of that, you get to salvage two. So this is like Magical Girl Appears, except slightly more compression. Um, it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with this effect. It's just kind of whatever.
Uh,
It should be noted this is, marginally worse than Magical Girl Appears because if this is the only card in your hand, you can't use the effect. Magical Girl Appears
oh,
will at
come
least let
on,
you get one
dude.
card.
Come on.
What? It's true.
I don't. It's like this is like the most bare of this is like the most slight. This is like the slightest of margins.
Do you know what grade I would give Magical Girl Appears? The same grade as this card. I'm just pointing it out. Like, if it is somehow the last card in your hand, that is a situation that could eventuate if you're playing like a really bad waifu deck.
This card's okay, just okay.
Yeah, I mean, okay is a C, right?
Yeah.
All right, next card. This is for the time deck. If you don't have an Umi or wait, no, it's not. Is it? If you don't have Umi or Nanami, so like the little girl or the girl who has a funny hat,
Yeah.
you can't play this from hand. So when you play this, send this to memory. And at the start of your encore step, if this is in your memory, put it back into your waiting room and then perform one of these effects. Either draw a card, or give a character 3k to the end of your opponent's next turn, or deal 1 to your opponent. So, I mean, there are a couple things this does. The first is that this provides memory fodder for the level 3 Nanami finisher. And then the second one is what's written on the card. You can either cantrip and give something some survivability, or you deal 1 damage. So, 2/1 deal 1 damage has historically not been playable.
I think
2/1
it's
draw a card, give something 3k is also historically not been playable. And 1 cost to gain 1 memory is literally never been playable. Like I don't think that card is ever playable. Is combining all 3 of those together worth a card? Maybe. Maybe.
it's modal. Oh,
Yeah. And that's what stopped me giving it like an abysmal rating, because having the ability to turn one of your cards into damage for 1 stock is pretty good. Like non-interactable damage too. This is actually damage which wait, does this go through anti-burn?
no.
It doesn't,
It's an
does it?
auto.
That's an auto, yes, okay. Like it is just paying 1, dropping a card to deal 1 damage, and it's basically non-interactable, which is, I mean, it's worth more than nothing. And the other effects are like whatever. You'll use them if there's no reason not to. I wouldn't really want to put this in the deck though.
Probably not. But it's okay. It's like fine.
Speaking of cards I wouldn't want to put in the deck,
Oh.
1/0, bye bye for a little while. This is the Infinite QB event, where both players reshuffle their decks into their libraries. This is either like a backbreakingly powerful event that you'll tell your friends about for years to come, or a completely worthless event that often helps your opponent as much as it hurts them. I think that being a non-salvageable event, that is a straight -1, that provides no actual
D
benefits,
minus.
tangible
This is
benefit.
worse than the vanilla?
Yes. I would
I
much
don't know
rather
about
have
that,
a.
dude. I don't know about that.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Let's say in percentage scenarios where you'd want to have a card of some sort,
I mean,
I
even
would
at one
rather.
copy, right? I think even at 1 copy, this card is better than, like, maybe better than a vanilla. Okay, I have to say this is better than vanilla.
I don't, because I think that
I'm gonna say
at
it's better than
times,
vanilla.
look, say you clock and then you draw
I
into
mean,
this.
you can just hold it, right? You can just hold it. What's wrong with that?
Hold it for what?
Hold it for the right opportunity. Like, even that, I think, is just way more impactful than a vanilla, right?
I am not convinced that's true.
Because,
So
come on,
if that
dude.
opportunity doesn't come and you need to clock this away, there goes all of your value. Like the value of this card being in the deck, being in your hand, and the fact that you drew into it. It's all gone because you can't get it back anymore. And let's say that you do have an embarrassment of riches. Let's say that you have a bunch of cards in hand and that you just have this on the side. That's fine,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
that's not often going to be the case, and this is often going to be the first card you don't want to have in your hand because just playing it is oftentimes not beneficial.
I think it's better than vanilla, though.
Let's put it this way. If I could have this as just an effect I could do once a game at any point in time, I would rate, like, if for example, I could put the card in my deck and then at the beginning of each game set it aside and have access to it at any time, this would be an A. Like, this would be a card that is not so. But because it's not, because it's a regular card you need to draw, you can't get it any other way, it's not worth a card to me. And a vanilla is least worth a card to me. Are you ever playing this in your deck?
No, but neither am I playing vanilla, right?
I
would
would
much
rather
play
vanilla
one of
than
these
this.
than a vanilla. That's just where I'm drawing the line, basically. There's like no universe in which I could foresee myself playing a vanilla over this card.
There's not really a universe where I would play this card.
I mean, sure.
Whereas,
but like, are you telling me you'd rather put a vanilla in your deck than this card if you were forced to choose?
I'd rather see a vanilla in my opening hand than this card. 100%. Oh, except like a 2/1 vanilla. 2/1 vanillas are awful. And also vanilla 1/1 counters. Those are also awful. We spent a lot of time arguing about
card
absolutely
is so
nothing.
bad, and we're still talking.
All right. Well, that's red, and we'll do blue shortly.